Hey guys, Trevor with Shadow Systems Technical Tuesday. I want to talk a little bit about cleaning compensators and what kind of happens to compensators after a lot of rounds are fired. All right. Shadow makes two compensators currently, three, using two materials. They're made either out of 70-75 aluminum, which is a really good hard type of aluminum, and so that's the DRP and the thread-on compensator. Most other companies making aluminum compensators will use 70-75, I hope, although there are some probably that use 60-61. So we have aluminum comps, and then we also have the steel comp on the CR, right? And as I've explained before, the CR, the slide velocities are much higher in a subcompact pistol, so you can get away with a heavier comp, and we chose to do that here. Now, people have questions then about maintenance and cleaning of compensators, especially because the port of a compensator, and we'll roll some pictures in, but the port of a compensator can get pretty nasty, okay? And these are two compensators that came back in from customer service that were just, devastated, right? So we grabbed them today to show you guys. The green color you see in there is copper, okay? The grayer sort of color is lead, and then obviously the black would be carbon. Now, anybody that's cleaned a gun kind of has experienced this before, where there's sort of two kinds of carbon. There's the surface level stuff that you can wipe off, and then there's like hard carbon. And anybody who's a bench rest shooter will tell you hard carbon is really hard to get out of anything. And most of what you see in, like as an example, on an AR-15, M16, the back of the bolt tail, that's hard carbon that gets accumulated there in the chamber. It's always hard to get out. So the point here is you're dealing with a lot of different kinds of contaminants or materials that you're trying to clean, and the news flash is it's probably not always worth the effort, and it also depends on how nasty the comp gets. Also depends on the kind of ammunition you shoot. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't clean your gun or clean your comp a little bit, but just have kind of realistic expectations. You're probably never going to get a compensator to look brand new, factory fresh, okay? I think it actually kind of looks cool when they're, they've got like the green in there from the copper and stuff. But most solvents aren't really going to get that stuff out, and it's really not going to affect the performance of the comp. The other thing to mention too, though, related to the aluminum compensators, and this happens on all compensators, you will get some erosion inside the comp body, all right? Now, I've never seen it erode through the wall or something like that. I just mean that the corners of the compensator where there's a lot of turbulence and hot gases hitting the walls, it's not uncommon to see them kind of get eroded. And we can show some pictures of that. This one's got like super high round count, and you can kind of see it. And I frankly think sometimes people will look at that erosion and they'll think there's like some substance to clean out of there. And the reality is it's just the walls of the compensator are becoming porous and maybe a little deformed. You really only see that in aluminum comps. It's not just Shadow comps, it's any aluminum comp. And my experience also is it seems like some ammunition is more prone to doing that, although I couldn't tell you what the differences are. I do want to touch on one thing though, related to ammunition that's pretty important. And that is that not all ammunition is good to shoot in a compensator. And the one that stands out to me is Blazer. Okay, so we happen to have a box of Blazer here. This happens to be 10mm for some reason. I don't know why we would have that, but down here it actually says, and we'll show you a picture, do not use in firearms with ported barrels or ported recoil compensators. It says it right there. And I think the reason for that is that this is not a true FMJ bullet. This is a plated bullet, and we did a video on that before if you want to see where we actually demonstrate that plating is coming off when it goes through the rifling. Okay, so I just make the point that Blazer brass, which we shoot a lot of, and frankly we've shot it through compensators, is just more prone to like shred pieces of jacket, certainly get the comp nastier because the lead becomes exposed and so forth. So if you're using a compensator, just realize you want a true FMJ, and again, you can watch that video to understand what that is, okay? So that's kind of the high level. Main message being, don't get super OCD on the inside of your comp because you're probably never going to be satisfied. You might see some erosion on an aluminum comp. That's very normal. Usually, by the way, it just gets to a point and then stops. And you know, when you select your ammunition, just be cautious because there's definitely some ammo out there that's really not best for comps. You want a true FMJ. All right, that's what we got for this week, and we'll see you next time.